Hello and welcome to a new episode of Wind Waker Unflooded, a new video on the channel. How many times does this happen? Let's celebrate. It's time for a new Wind Waker Unflooded video. Let's get hyped. I don't know, man. I'm excited to share this space with y'all. I'm excited to be in front of y'all again. I mean, it's I don't know. I'm serious. I sound like I'm joking, but I'm serious. That's the crazy thing about old Joe. Sometimes I say things and they sound like a joke, but I'm being for real. I'm being for rizzle. How can I perfectly blend being authentic and a comedian? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm losing it. Welcome back to a new episode of Wind Waker Unflooded. This is a 3D modeling fan art project where we are bringing to life the land of Hyrule in the art style of the Wind Waker. Of course, if you've played The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, you know that all the islands of the Great Sea are secretly the mountaintops of Hyrule. But we never get to see anything beyond the mountaintops in-game. We only get to explore a small portion of Hyrule near the castle. And I've always wondered, we see these islands, how do the islands connect to the land down below? Is it similar to the Hyrule that we've seen in other Zelda games? Is it possible for the map to line up? These questions and more will be answered within the making of this 3D modeling fan art project. This is Wind Waker Unflooded. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just feeling a little silly and wanted to give y'all a new kind of intro. I am going to say, and I need to stop saying this because this always damages my view count, but the fact is, this isn't a major location. I'm just kind of whittling away at the model, working on some things, connecting roads between locations. It's not a super sexy video. I want to tell y'all that because I value y'all's time. And I think if you're here and you like listening to me talk and you want to talk about Zelda and be a part of that conversation, and you're just interested in the progress of the project, then feel free to keep watching. And I think I'm still providing value in this video. But if you're only tuning in for like bigger locations or more important updates, this isn't the video for you. And I just want to say that, just because I feel like that's worth getting out there. I don't think this is a bad video to watch. I'm going to do my best to make it worth your while, but I think it's worth saying. There will be more sexy locations later. I've done videos before like this, and to me, it's just, I've talked about this before, and I don't want to repeat myself, but I do feel aware that the project got more successful on YouTube once I was willing to show you more behind-the-scenes stuff, be more transparent, not just show you big locations or polished locations, but show you some of the in-between stuff and the small stuff and the minutia, and invite you into the work in progress on this project. And so to me, I still carry that and value that, and that is informing this video. So this is just figuring out, all right, we have a Kakariko village that I started to model from Breath of the Wild, and I put that kind of near Hyrule Field, just east of it, and it's elevated, close to the mountaintops alongside one of the Triangle Isles, and they're up kind of on a ridge together. But how are you going to get from there or to there from Hyrule Field? If you're chilling by the castle, is there a path that's going to take you up closer to that ridge? So far, not yet. But as of this video, yes. So that's the kind of thing we're working on today, right? And it's like I've talked before about how I have different philosophies when I 3D model. Sometimes I'm recreating a location, sometimes I'm making something completely new, and sometimes I'm just connecting the dots and just figuring out just traversal within this world. And it's not necessarily to make a memorable location that's supposed to be this lore-filled, unique, what am I trying to say? Something that is special within the world of Zelda. Not every location is. Sometimes it's just, this is a mountainside path, and this is just required in order to connect these more important locations. But not to say that it can't be beautiful, right? And I love hiking, and I love walking along mountainside paths, and this is a cartoonish version of that, right? This is not modeled after a real hiking trail, but I do want to capture everything I love about hiking on the side of a mountain and have that in this world. And this is a world full of mountainous trails, and that is just the nature of the project and the world. So even if it's not a huge sexy location, it is still something that can be meaningful. And, as you look at the world and think about how it's composed, it's a world made for pedestrians and for hikers. And, sure, like I've added train tracks and, there's a trolley in Hyrule Castle Town, but really like most of this world is meant to be hiked across. And there's some of it that's meant to be, you can ride a horse across certain paths and they're wide enough to take your horse. But there's a lot of it that's just meant to be like, well, how do you get from place to place? Sometimes the best way to get there is just to take a hike. And I like that about the world. I don't know. I like that it encourages that. And that's just because it's so mountainous and because there's so many islands that require mountains from the original map. But I do like that about the map. But anyway, I'm just rambling. I'm rambling. I think for now, though, it might be time for a short break. So I'll check back in on you after this short message. If you want to be able to support me as a creator, there's several ways that you can do that. Become a member on Patreon. It gives you access to exclusive bonus features and early access content in all of my filmmaking projects. Stuff like early access to scripts that I'm writing, storyboards, previs, rough cuts, and music that I compose. I'm a composer, and any music that you've heard in the background of this video was my music. So go to Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you listen to music and type in Joe Kendrick. That's JoeKendrick. Look up Joe Kendrick on Spotify. And we're back. Welcome back. So yeah, I guess like I was saying, and I want to just kind of like talk about that just a little bit more, right? Because like, I've talked before about like I want to think about logistics in this world and think about like boats and trains and horseback paths, right? And I want all of those I want the world to feel like it can expand, right? That if there's cities and towns, that like that the world feels like it's the infrastructure has grown to accommodate its population. This is Hyrule at its peak. Let's show that through all of those things. But also like, just kind of in tune with what we've seen of Hyrule in Breath of the Wild and the original Zelda game. And sometimes we see Hyrule just kind of in this post-apocalyptic state where fundamentally like, maybe we have a horse sometimes, but most of the time it's just about, can you climb? Can you walk from place to place? And this is a world meant for adventurers first, because I think like to me, like right now, the most boring parts of the map are just the long straight stretches of pathways, these long trails where you just get on a path. And it's like there's one right now that takes you from like past Lon Lon Ranch to Lake Hylia. And it's just like a pretty flat trail. And I kind of want to do some work there. And I might add some kind of chasms to that area. Something to make that path more interesting. Because just walking in a straight line, that's not super interesting. But as soon as you can make it a decision, even if it's just traversal, this is my belief. This is what I hope, right? Is that even if it's just traversal, if you can take it from walking in a straight line to having to make interesting decisions about where you want to go and how you want to get there and what path you want to take, even without special mechanics, even if you're just looking at the map even, that it becomes interesting to chart your course and to think about how the paths connect and how they lead to each mountaintop, how they lead to the islands of the Great Sea that you know from the original Wind Waker game. To me, like, that's kind of my goal, is that, and as soon as it's just a straight line that goes from place to place, that's not as interesting. Even if that is convenient for horseback riding or carts, So these are all things I'm thinking about, right? And especially since there are now train tracks, it's like I don't feel the pressure to have long stretches of paths for horseback riding. I feel like I can break it up more and make the path more interesting. So I don't know, comment down below if you have any ideas about how to do that, right? Any things that make sense to you. I've asked this before, but I think it's worth asking again, right? I don't know, I feel like I repeat myself a lot, but I know not everyone watches every video, so I think it's okay. But, I think there are some things worth kind of refreshing y'all on and talking to new subscribers about, just in case there's new people watching videos. I think there's stuff worth bringing up in that aspect. But yeah, just to invite y'all to comment down below if you have any ideas about, like, what are things you could stumble upon as you're walking down one of the paths and you come across something blocking your path, or there's some kind of, structure that you have to go around or through or under. You know, what are different things you can think of that you can imagine to make the world and the idea of traversing it more interesting. So I'm all ears, and I want to invite that. I've said this, you know, pretty much in every video, that I really do invite y'all's ideas, and I want y'all to know I really mean that. Like, so much of what helps me decide what video to work on next are reading y'all's comments and doing polls in the community tab where, you know, I'll say like, hey, here's some locations that y'all have suggested. Which one do you want to see me work on next in a video? That really helps me decide what I want to work on when recording. And of course, like in a video like this one that you're watching now, you know, no one's asking for that, but that is just a part of the progress of the project, you know, and that's just, you know, like this is just how it goes. You know, next video it'll be a little more interesting, but I don't know, like I think it's still fun, and I've still, you know, I enjoy modeling any part of the map, right? And I think there are some things that's like, for me, as long as I can have some kind of perspective and be modeling with creative intent, it doesn't have to be a special location. It could be part of a mountainside. It could be part of a major location. It could be something really special. And to me, it's like, you know, it's just a joy to revisit this world, to revisit the world of the Wind Waker, to revisit Hyrule and create it in this new art style. That's really exciting to me, and I get a lot out of this project, and I hope y'all do too. So like I said, I invite y'all's comments to know y'all's ideas, and I invite feedback, criticisms, concerns. If y'all have any locations that you want to see me work on, feel free to comment down below, or just any other ideas, like I said, that you have about the project. I really invite that, and it means a lot to me to see how much the project means to y'all, that like, just because I love the Wind Waker, and to me it's like I've always wanted to imagine this world. What would Hyrule look like within the world of the Wind Waker? And so to me it's really special to be able to bring that to life. And even though it's my project, and I am very humble about it, it still is very special to me to see it be created. And it fills me, you know, like I'm not the best modeler, and I know that, but it also, like, it is special for me to work on this project, and I mean that. So, and I hope it's special for y'all as well, because I know how much Zelda means to so many people, and how much Wind Waker means to so many people, and how many other people have imagined this world for decades like I have. I feel very aware of that. So if we share this dream, I'm happy to share the dream with you. So, I don't know. I'm going to wrap up the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope y'all have enjoyed this video. I've enjoyed recording the voiceover, so just a little more work on the road between Hyrule Castle and Breath of the Wild's version of Kakariko Village. So, I don't know, like I enjoyed working on this, and I hope that you've enjoyed watching it. So, I've already told you how you can support me as a creator, but yeah, like I said, feel free to become a Patreon member to get behind-the-scenes access to my filmmaking content and music that I compose, and you can listen to music that's been released that I've composed on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you listen to music. Type in Joe Kendrick. That's JoeKendrick. Any way that you feel led to support me as a creator would mean a lot. I don't monetize this channel. This channel is completely unmonetized. If you saw an ad on the video, it's because YouTube put an ad on the video. I don't make any money from Wind Waker Unflooded. I don't think it's right to, but I do want to invite you to support me as a creator. So I've given you the spiel. I've said everything I gotta say. So without further ado, thank you all so much for watching. I'll let y'all go.